Hi, and welcome to Microsoft Social Engagement. My name is Julie Yak. In our course, we will have a few objectives, but primarily our goal is to try to get you to not only understand social engagement in general, but how do we make it work in your organization. So we'll describe what Microsoft Social Engagement can do and the different features and functionalities to expect. We'll go through and configure your social engagement. You'll see settings for organizations, users, searches, machine learning, all of those different moving parts. And then also we will help you to define a strategy for your own social engagement story. Does that depend on customers, competitors, sales, service? Social media has changed the way that we engage and communicate. Today, our customers are more informed and getting their information in new ways and from many different news sources. Decisions are influenced by discussions online, by reviews from other users and customers. In fact, as you probably know as a customer, most of the time your decision of what to purchase is fairly solid before you engage at all with that retail establishment. Using Microsoft Social Engagement along with Dynamics 365 can enable an organization to monitor those key developments from your top accounts, gain important insights about your competitors, and spot some purchasing signals, customer care issues, or other information that would help you better serve your customers and react to those online business items or concerns. There are many different players in your social engagement story. We have your customer, those external people, customer, potential customer, your organization, and within that organization, you have several different folks that are playing a part. You have the marketing and the public relations folks, you have the sales representatives, your agents, and using Microsoft Social Engagement, it helps you to enable a true digital transformation. It brings social capability to everyone in your organization. Every employee, whether they're customer facing or not, could benefit from the social insights and a better understanding of how customers are engaging with your company on social. Microsoft Social Engagement, as part of Dynamics 365, puts social at the fingertips of your sales team, your customer service agents, and across the organization. Service agents can meet the customers on their channel of choice. How many of us have reached out as consumers on Twitter seeking resolution for a customer service complaint? Sales teams can gather intelligence, perhaps grab some new leads, and build their own credibility throughout social selling. Employees in any role can leverage social insights to better understand the voice of their customers. You can harness the power of social media to go beyond likes and shares. You can create real, measurable business results. Social engagement helps improve this experience through key 4 capabilities. They're deeply integrated with Dynamics 365. We have social insights, brand reputation, social care, and social selling. We'll look at each of these capabilities and show you how to configure these in your organization throughout this course. I'll bring features back to our use cases and help you put social into your core business strategies. So in general, some considerations that are good social media practices as you begin to embark on your journey. Listen before you speak. When you start this, you want to put in some good searches. You want to get an idea of what is the public perception on social media of your brand, your product, your name, your company. It's really hard to slow down and listen, but that's a vital part of this experience, is the listening before you engage. You'll need to find out who is in control of your message. Is it you? Is it your consumers? Is it friendlies? Is it the haters? Who's in control of that message? And then who should be in control of your message? Oftentimes, if our customers are in control of the message and they're happy, that goes much further than any kind of marketing or PR that we could try. And then what is your social footprint? Your social footprint is the entirety of your social presence online. Your company, your brand, your product, your name. What do people see when they go and being that name? It's not just the websites you control, it's the social messaging, it's the news, it's the other pieces of this social puzzle. There are several different business opportunities with social. Keep an eye on your competition. For example, Someone complains about their cable provider not getting installed fast enough. Well, if that's your competition, you build searches to get that information, then you respond with an offer. Hey, come over here to my company. We're a better provider and we can give you a discount. See someone complaining, they might switch brands. Then you also might have an opportunity to upsell to your happy customers. Your customer is really super happy with the widgets that you sell, so maybe they want to buy more. Maybe they want to give them as gifts. How can we gather that sentiment and how can we upsell to our happy customers? So just a quick illustration from a practical perspective so that you can see and maybe understand these details with a specific business scenario. So let's just say the retail brand is Julie's Widgets. While tracking Julie's Widgets and the public perception of Julie's Widgets, we can engage. So the brand pays attention to the influencers. The influencers could be fans, it could be haters, it could be giving us tweets, it could be sending us private messages, it could be news stories and blog coverage. So with all of that information coming in from our various influencers, we can track and measure using Microsoft Social Engagement. Do we have product issues? Have we done something special that's generating some buzz? If we have those product issues, are we now in crisis? Do we need to roll that in and try to figure out how to manage that crisis so that we can recover our brand? Here's some overview of the different modules that we have in this course. First module, we'll discuss the introduction to social engagement. We'll go over several of the use case scenarios as well as a summary and review of the different features. Then we'll connect and configure. This is where you'll be adding your users with the user roles. This is where we'll show you the different sources for the social feed. Targeting the right audience is where we'll walk you through making sure that you have connected with the correct folks who are going to help shape your message. In posts and searches, we'll talk about the different ways to build your searches to get the posts that are actionable for you. Then we'll work with those posts. We'll talk through the analytics, we'll talk through some maps, we'll talk through the different selling options we have available. Taking action will take us through some common workflows and how do we get that information into a working environment like our Dynamics 365 environment. And then finally, we'll wrap up with some automating. How do we tag things? How do we promote those records? How do we engage the machine learning capabilities? And throughout all of this, we'll have some hands-on learning. We have some short, easy to follow steps for you to get your hands on actually using social engagement. I also suggest that as you're listening to this course and watching this course, you'll see me do several demonstrations. Maybe you could have a side-by-side where you're watching my demonstration and doing the steps in your own organization at the same time to get that hands-on learning in the context of your business needs. So our hands-on learning will be the setting up of the users, some configuration for your organization. We'll connect those social profiles and build some searches, and then we'll continue with connecting it to Dynamics and doing some automation. Hello and welcome to Module 1 of Microsoft Social Engagement, Introducing Social Engagement. My name is Julie Yak. For our module outline, we'll talk about what is social media engagement. This is the big picture. It's what the world is seeing and doing. Then we'll talk about what is Microsoft Social Engagement. What are the tools that Microsoft has available for us in the social engagement product? We'll go through a navigation tour and review the features. I'll be doing a demonstration with the navigation. And as a reminder, I highly recommend that you follow along in your own organization so that you can get the additional hands-on experience. Then we'll go through some different use cases. What types of businesses are using social engagement and what are they using it for and what are their gains? As we jump in, a reminder about Microsoft Social Engagement. It accesses third-party services that will likely have their own terms of service and privacy practices. You will need to abide by those in addition to any of the Microsoft products. Throughout this course, we'll see screenshots and demos that may include information provided by these third-party services and their users. So let's take a look at these numbers. They show us that the consumer experience is now transformed. Social is no longer an experiment or an outlier. It is the expectation. In order to succeed in business, you need to be socially engaged. 34% of customers have sought customer service via social media, and 71% of sales professionals are using social selling tools. So if you're in customer service, you need online social. If you're in sales, you need online social. At the same time, the social media world is transforming, so is the world around it. The speed at which we do business and the number of channels we're using to do it is rapidly increasing. Organizations who can't keep up with the proliferation of data and the communication channels risk being left behind or rendered obsolete as others undergo a digital transformation. More and more, we're seeing businesses focus on customer experience in their social media strategies, with over 3/4 of social business strategists rating it as their #1 priority. Think about your social experiences, not only as a professional in business, but as a customer. What are your expectations? How do you communicate with companies? How do they communicate with you? Not only is social a huge piece of how people are communicating these days, it's actually making significant impact on business outcomes. Gone are the days of measuring social media success simply by likes and shares. Organizations are focusing now on how social initiatives impact their bottom line and key metrics like brand perception. On the prior slide, we talked about how many customers are engaged socially, and here we see some of that impact. Customers have a more favorable view of those brands that are responding in social media. These are the ones that are engaged with their customers. The organizations that fail to engage on social risk a huge loss in numbers for their customers. So, what's top of mind when it comes to social? Organizations across the globe continue to create and adopt strategies around social. 3 themes are top of mind. Organizations are using social media to better connect with their customers. This means listening to what your customers are saying, engaging with them, and leveraging broad social data sets to gain insights that can be better used to support your customers. Social is a great way to keep the pulse of what your customers are saying. You can empower your organization. When all your customers are using all these channels to communicate, you can then have your employees responding on those same channels. Social can make it faster and easier for your employees to communicate with customers, and it can also make it easier for your employees to communicate with one another. Additionally, almost every person in your organization can benefit from the rich data available from social media. Whether it's a marketer better understanding what hashtags are popular among customer conversations about your brand, your business strategy team studying competitors, a product manager gleaming insights about feature requests and customer frustrations, or a service agent taking a quick pulse check to see if other customers are encountering similar issues to the one they're working on. Social data is available to give your employees the information they need to see to do their jobs better. All of today's leaders need to do is to make sure that social data is accessible to the right people when they need it. It seems almost daily we see social media success stories. This brand has a great new Twitter team. That brand is showing a good customer service is all about. Creating real results. Social media presents some measurement challenges. It's difficult for most businesses to establish exactly what that return on investment of various social media efforts could be. In fact, many of them ignore the tough challenge of measuring their efforts in terms of business value in favor of focusing on activity metrics, those likes, comments, shares, retweets, and posts. Encouragingly, though, global leaders are starting to measure social results in terms of real return, using it to answer questions like, are we increasing customer satisfaction? Are we increasing revenue? Have we improved customer retention? There's a standard cycle that social engagement tends to go through when you're on the receiving end of that information. First, you start by gathering information. You look for keywords and influencers. You go through the various sources and their timelines to see what's important to you. There may be release cycles that you need to be aware of. You may have crisis management to be aware of. From there, we move on to reviewing. Is the sentiment as we expected? Is it accurate, even if it's not what we expected? What's our competition doing? Is it time to adjust the search terms that we're using? Then we move on to analyze. Are we seeing trends based on location or languages? Different locations having different sentiment. Are we getting different volume, different buzz from different locations or different languages based on different release cycles, based on perhaps a potential flaw in our product? Then we move on to responding. That's the quick action. That's the jumping in to respond to that stranded traveler. That's the response to the person whose technician is late. Then there's that long-term engagement. Let's utilize our influencers. Let's get those haters back on our side. Let's use our fans to our advantage. So now that we know more about social media engagement, why Microsoft Social Engagement? Well, we've got purpose-built, productive, intelligent, and adaptable. So Microsoft Social Engagement is designed particularly for business users, especially marketers, sellers, and customer service agents, to deliver personalized engagement and then an improved customer experience. It enables greater productivity by making it easy to use and simple to set up so that anyone in your organization can harness social media's power. Microsoft Social Engagement is deeply integrated with other Dynamics 365 applications, and in turn, Dynamics 365 deeply integrates with the familiar Office 365 applications, so everyone in your organization can use social capabilities in the context of their day-to-day jobs. It delivers built-in intelligence with powerful machine learning and automation capabilities, takes the manual work out of sorting through social media content, and then it surfaces the information that matters most, and it surfaces it to us automatically. For those in your organization, Microsoft Social Engagement offers immersive, intelligent, proactive, omnichannel experiences so your teams can gather actionable social insights and intelligently engage with customers on social. And with quick feedback from your team, Microsoft Social Engagement learns and adapts to become even more tailored to your business. So we'll go through a navigation tour and a quick listing of the different features that we'll be covering throughout this course. Our first demonstration is a navigation tour. We'll be going through and looking at some of the settings, where you find your searches, and a brief overview of the different analytics. Again, I encourage you to follow along. So here we are inside the Microsoft Social Engagement application. We've got a lot of analytics here in front of us, and we'll get to that here in a little while. But let's start here at the top left corner. We call this the waffle. This is the informal name of it. It's just a tool to navigate us back to our Office 365 applications. If we continue over to the right, you'll see Microsoft Social Engagement as a button, and that is our home button. That button will bring us back to this basic analytics page where we have this overview. Then we have the informally named hamburger, which brings us to the different navigation areas, and we'll come back to that in just a minute. As we continue across the top right, you'll see that we can have a quick glance through our profile here for Office 365 for our user. However, there are no changes that can be made from this. If you want to make changes, it needs to be directly within Office 365. Here we also have the ability to get to some of my own preferences and then also to see the about information. Just below us here, we've got some trends that we can see. We've got increasing trends of 10%. We have about 1,000 posts here, and we have a date picker. We get to make this selection for the default within our global settings, but here we can do it directly with a custom time frame or whatever we might like to see for our current trends. Now back here to the different navigation options where we have search setup, analytics that brings us right back here, private messages. If we had any of that set up, we can see here that we've not set those up with our profiles at this point in time. We can go to Social Center and see posts, and we can go to any of those different areas to see the different statistics or settings or things like that that we have been setting up. Here we can get to our settings area where we see different things like the connections, user management, and social profiles. Now that we've seen some of social engagement in action, let's talk a little bit about the features and capabilities that we saw. We can gather targeted social posts, both public posts and private posts, so that we're seeing things through our authenticated accounts, things that are not necessarily public, We can also set up alerts for these so that we get notifications automatically if we've got trends that are changing, if we have private messages from high-profile influencers. We can analyze all of this information. It's great if we can gather this, but now what do we do with all of that data? We can detect the trends, positive and negative. We can detect the sentiment. We can worry about location tracking and awareness. What if our product has a different reputation in different locations? And then we can engage with those targeted social posts. We have the machine learning capabilities to continue to make our sentiment analysis more and more accurate. We have the ability to add automation so that we know if something is a new lead in our Dynamics organization or if it's a customer service case, and so much more. We keep talking about social engagement plus our customer information. Now, here's a few places where it might make sense to engage with those two at the same time. So you've heard me mention several times about Dynamics 365 plus social engagement. Here are a few different suggestions on how it might make sense to marry those pieces of information. We can add social to strategic forms. For example, we have some high-profile accounts. We might want to keep an eye on what our competitors are doing in advance of having a battle over a sale. We can have dashboard information. This could be an all-up view within our Dynamics information so that we can see what's the social buzz after we send out that massive email marketing. Have we monitored for problems? Do we have a product release so that we have seen that people have problems with the widgets that we have just sold? We can keep an idea of the sentiment of both our products and our specific brand name. We can compare that social data next to our customer data right on the same dashboard. And then again, the streamlining post-processing. So those posts come in as leads. We can then continue to use the full power of the platform behind Dynamics to make sure that we are processing those leads appropriately, processing those cases appropriately to continue to increase our customer satisfaction. So we've got 4 primary sets of capabilities that we're going to be talking about: social insights, brand reputation, social care, and social selling. We'll go through some of those stories and hopefully throughout this course tie back to those primary capabilities throughout as we go through the different features and functionality. Social insights. Let's empower everyone in your organization, not just a select few in that marketing department. Let's capitalize on the rich insights available to us through social data. These insights are important regardless of your particular business model. Let's ensure everyone in the organization can stay in touch with your customers through these social insights. Microsoft Social Engagements present social data in a way that's simple to set up and easy to comprehend in any role, not just social media marketing or data scientists. You see what's important to customers and prospects and how that changes over time. Analyze trends in social data. You can drill down into specific customer comments on social with search and filtering functionality, or analyze broad conversion themes to stay in touch with the voice of your customer. You can easily connect social content to other customer data points across Dynamics 365 for the most up-to-date customer intelligence. You want to understand sentiment. Microsoft Social Engagement automatically tags every incoming post with sentiment and adapts to the feedback you give on whether that sentiment accurately reflects the way sentiment works in your organization. Over time, this makes the system even more accurate and tailored to your unique needs. You can also drill down on positive and negative conversation themes to quickly understand what customers are raving about or what's causing potential problems in the marketplace. You can identify intent. Microsoft Social Engagement automatically detects the intent within the social post, and that helps you route items accordingly. Is it a new lead? Is it a customer service request? We have simple filtering available. You quickly find the conversations that are most relevant to you in your role with one-click filtering. Hone in on conversations by sentiment, geography, language, source, or influence. Brand reputation is important to all of us. Marketing and PR teams know how important that is and how word of mouth can positively or negatively impact business when things go viral. It's crucial to keep tabs on your social standing. We have adaptive sentiment. Don't get distracted by those false positives. We use machine learning to tweak our sentiment detection in a way that's tailored to your organization so that the feedback you give improves the accuracy of this detection. You can manage your reputation. You'll be the first to know when things shift. You can set up alerts so that when post volume or sentiment changes, you're notified immediately so you can get ahead of any potential brand damage before it becomes a crisis. You can cultivate a community. Without customers and brand advocates, your social efforts won't be nearly as effective. We offer tools to identify, track, and engage with individual influencers and experts on social so you never miss any posts from your VIPs. And we analyze those conversations. Knowing what customers are saying is half the battle, but using social engagement to understand conversations about your brand, your competitors, and what's going on in your industry will help continue to give you an edge. Social customer care. As a customer, how many of us have put a complaint on Twitter? How many of us have been upset because it took too long to get a response or we received no response at all? So one of the top challenges facing today's customer service organization is managing those queries. Microsoft Social Engagement is designed to alleviate that concern for your service agents by giving them the information they need and helping them automate the case writing so your agents can spend more of their time delighting the customers. Omnichannel engagement allows us to meet our customers on the channel of their choice. Do they want chat? Do they want email? Do they want phone? Intelligent customer care allows us to triage the social posts. We can use machine learning capabilities that automatically identify and route posts to the right agents. We can easily filter by language, geography, and topic. We can collaborate efficiently by using workflow and automation that's available to us on the platform so that we can have things go directly to the correct queue, that we can have managers engaged from a very beginning if necessary. And we can detect those trends on sentiment across social conversations, create those alerts to be more proactive. Social selling gives us great customer engagement on their terms. It empowers our sellers with customer behavior and trends to build and develop customer relationships. We make connections. We can source out those high-quality leads to the appropriate resources to make sure that they're the ones that are closing the deals. We gather intelligence, stay in touch with our customers, learn more about them, and about the competitors that may be taking those potential deals away from us. We build our own credibility. We can build our social presence and credibility by sharing knowledge about our company, our products, our industry, anything that we can then participate in the relevant social media conversations. We've got a couple of use cases to go through. While we're going through these, I challenge you to not only think of the business needs of these organizations, but think about what you would want as a customer receiving the products and services of these businesses that we discuss here. So our first use case is financial services. Let's think about maybe a bank or an insurance company and what they might need with social engagement. We have a bank, for example, that could be reinventing their customer experience by leveraging modern technology. Gives their customers faster, easier access to communication, faster, easier access to the products and services. It gives them a first-class experience so that they as a customer know through this direct channel communication that they're being taken care of, that they have value. There's a seamless flow of information between the provider and the customer. Let's think about a travel company, an airline, for example. They can have a social media engagement that around the clock access to their customers in real time. So we have potential to help that stranded traveler. We have potential to give weather updates. If we have any specific air traffic control problems, we can share with all of our followers. Maybe there's potential things that they should be planning for that are different than what they had originally expected. Let's think of a luxury retail brand. When you are within a certain cost of things, you expect a certain response. You want a quick response. You want a tailored response. You expect that if you're spending that much money, you would like to have a response. You want to feel important as a customer. You want to have a proactive engagement experience where you don't have to necessarily complain first. You'd like to have that organization be in touch with you and proactively seek your feedback and your opinions. You can do automated routing so that if you have potential problems, that those can then be taken care of much more quickly. How would a manufacturing company be interested in social media? Well, Online, you are concerned with your reputation. So a manufacturing organization would be interested in protecting that reputation. So you set up alerts so that if something were to happen with one of your products, if something were to happen with one of your competitors, you can continue to watch and be engaged to monitor your brand reputation. And a professional sports team, for example, a football club that might want to engage with their fans. You can have that omni-channel engagement and make it a very personalized experience. You have a full social picture of your fans when they tweet and engage from the stands, when they make merchandise purchases. You can have that full view of your fan and understand more of how you can better serve them and make them even bigger fans. So in our first module, we discussed overall what is social media engagement and how does Microsoft Social Engagement product fit into that story. We did a tour of our navigation and feature reviews, and we discussed some use cases of some businesses that are using Microsoft Social Engagement. From here, I'm going to encourage you to go get some hands-on. I've asked you to follow along with my demonstrations, but we do have some hands-on lab documents available. And in this one, for this first module, we'll walk you through the steps of setting up your organization and some of the important organization settings, as well as setting up your users and giving them licenses and the appropriate roles.